Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to the Top Flight Pod. You know what it is. You know what we're here to do. We're back in studio today. Beautiful Austin, Texas. Just getting back last night from the road trip down 290 to PNC or Shell Energy Stadium, whatever you want to call it. I'm with the boys. We got B here to my left. We got Verde Nation Logan here to my right. Difficult night. Tough result, but we're here to talk about it. Logan, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, man. Doing as good as I can be, but definitely got a lot to talk about. And, we know what the vibes are like, but, it's going to be a lot to just dissect, and it's going to be a lot for a lot of people to process, but.
Oh, yeah, definitely a lot to dissect. B, how you doing, mate? Welcome to the show.
Yeah, man, it was honestly a great weekend. I mean, as far as like the hang, we drove to Houston, we were chilling, the road trip. Yeah. Everything was great, except the game was horrible, bro. The last thing would have if we would have got the win, would have made the weekends just much better. But
so for this away game, for this game, of course, the boys were up in the fan section with the Austin FC fans that traveled down to Houston. I was in the press box with Alex and Salome. So got to see the game with a different point of view. I actually absolutely loved it. The Houston team, the communication team out there, they had a really nice scenario. They had really good organization in what they do out there for the working press. So I want to send a shout out to them. But the game, of course, is what we're here to talk about. And Austin FC lost 2-0 away from home. Houston Dynamo took care of their chances. Austin FC had a couple, one or two, you could say. Maybe you could say three. But in the end, it was Houston that took advantage of those chances. In the end, they're the team that keeps the 3 points. In my opinion, they were not the team going into this match with better form, but it is what it is. 2-0. B, what did you think of the match?
Oh, the match was horrible. I mean, the first half was just non-existent. And then, I mean, some small little things, but after that first goal by Houston went in, there was no sense of, eagerness and, oh, hell no, we're going to get our get back. No. It didn't seem to me that way. And then, I mean, look, these games, we always call them derbies. We want to take these games mean a little more than other games in the season for us here, especially in Austin. The amount of fans that travel, like we were hyped up as we are for every year for this fixture, away at Houston, away at Dallas. And to me, the players, it's just another game to them. It's just,
Did the boys forget this was a derby match?
I mean,
is that what you're saying,
dude? I'm questioning if they even know. Like,
you can't really forget if you don't really, remember.
I put this I want to see the players that've been here, the Stuver, Dani, Owen, to be like during training. It's like, hey, bro, like the fans here, when Houston, they take this seriously, bro. Like this is not just another game. But you got certain quotes and stuff that are like, oh, they've been playing it down. So I'm like.
To provide context, you're kind of focused. You're kind of hinting at what Dani Pereira and what Nico Estevez said midweek, where they kind of played down the derby in the sense where this is not a 6-point game; it's just 3 points. But they did mention how it was a derby. Copa Tejas was also thrown in there, but based off of maybe the effort on the field or the final result, is you're saying that some boys maybe didn't know what this game meant to a big chunk of the fans.
I was sitting there in the away section. Us being loud like we always are, watching them on the field and thinking, yeah, maybe this isn't a derby, bro. Maybe this isn't a derby. Maybe, you know what I mean? That's what I got out of watching this. Like, there was no derby in this game in us at all. This is just like, there's like
Let me ask
another
Logan.
game.
Let me ask Logan. Welcome to the conversation. We're here with the game. But I asked B, I said, hey, did the boys forget that this was a derby? You said that, well, they can't forget something that they didn't know. This is a team that had a lot of new players come in, right? There was a huge turnover. You think that maybe the derby sentiment or the derby mentality wasn't communicated to some of these guys?
Nah, I definitely think it had to be communicated. Whether or not everybody took it as serious as maybe they should have, I feel like the reality is we made Houston look good. They played better than us. And we, you know what I mean? You never want to see your team lose, especially bad, and especially to your in-state rivals. There's a lot of states they don't have other teams in the same state, but we have the luxury of being able to go have these derbies, go on the road. They may not see us as a complete rival, but like you're saying, like these players who are coming in, to them it's another game. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
Regardless of if they know it's the derby or not, you don't want to see this team lose. It doesn't matter who the opponent is, but I just hate that we made Houston look good.
Now, real quick, some stats from the game. Austin FC had 8 shots. 2 of those were on target. They had 49% possession, 440 passes with a pass accuracy of 85%. 20 fouls committed by the Verde and Black. 5 yellow cards were shown to Austin FC. Of course, no red cards for either team. 2 offsides and 5 corner kicks. That really does seem like they're pushing that play at the back post on most corner kicks. I thought that there was a lot of crosses that were put into the box there in the first half. But let's get into the lineup, guys, because we had some news coming into this game where Brandon Vazquez was on the availability report with an apparent illness. He was sick. He did not travel for this game, which caused maybe Nico Estevez to have a little bit of a curveball issue there, right? We see the starting lineup: Hader Obrian, Mirtu Usuni, Osman Bukhari there in the front 3 leading the Austin FC attack. In the midfield, you had Owen Wolf, Ilie Sanchez, who comes back into the team after maybe some games where he wasn't there in the starting 11. Dani Pereira, who we'll talk about here in a bit because of his injury. We have some kind of interesting news from 2 different sides. On the defense, Guilherme Biru, Julio Cascante, Svatok, and Jon Gallagher. Interesting to note, every player on the defensive side except Jon Gallagher saw a yellow card last night. Biru, Julio, and Svatok all left Houston with a yellow card.
I feel like Houston was getting like every call at one point. Like all the momentum was going their way. Like, so I didn't know they all had yellows, but
yeah. Now, Austin went with a 4-3-3. B, what did you think about the team that set out? Of course, no BV. You had Hader, Usuni, and Bukhari up top. Seemed a little bit disconnected, mate.
Yeah, it did. I mean, I'm sure the Brandon Vazquez, like you mentioned, threw a wrench in this everything, but not a convincing lineup. I mean, maybe you were happy to see Ilie Sanchez come make a return, but, and then also Cascante, Brian Heinzike being out for the suspension. So, yeah, it was like, Nico had to improvise. He had to make something come up, and this didn't work out. I mean, Usuni, all I'm going to say is that his work rate and his dedication, I guess, was kind of visible. He was pressing. He was doing everything that you would want your players to try to do in this kind of situation. Got put in the number 9 position. So, I mean, yeah, this lineup was off, bro. The vibes were off on this lineup from the jump, for sure.
Now, some player ratings with this is on SofaScore, right? SofaScore, right?
SofaScore,
Mirtu Usuni with a terrible rating on SofaScore with a 5.8, but on football, ladies and gentlemen, he also has a 5.8. So that's a difficult number for Mirtu Usuni. Kind of reflects the night that a lot of these players had against Houston. But before we get Logan's take on the lineup, I have a quote here that I want to read from Brad Stuver. Now, we're Austin TV. And Moises from Verde All Day, they were the only Austin FC media kind of networks that were there in person. There was a digital press conference where other folks from other sources asked the gaffer questions, and Ilie Sanchez also took questions from the media. But in the mix zone, we got to speak with Brad Stuver, and this is what he said to us. And I think this goes very well with the line of conversation. He says, all of us want us to be the best that we can, but when things aren't going our way, so many players want to be the X factor. They kind of want to take it on themselves to turn the game around. Our strength is our collectiveness and how we go about the game together. Who is he talking about in this lineup, Logan? Because he's saying that some guys are trying to do their own thing, mate. And if you look at these numbers, these player ratings, you can see a lot of guys had bad games. So what's Stu talking about here, mate?
Yeah, I think reality is it's a cursing and a blessing because you get everybody together who's new, and then you want them to link up. There's gonna be, especially when signing players like Usuni, you're signing players like Bukhari, you're signing players like Brandon Vazquez. They all have their own ego, their own sense of
their own culture,
what they want to accomplish and how they want to do things and their work rate. So that's why I say, like, maybe it can be viewed as wanting to do your own thing, but when I see people like Usuni who are brand new to this club and running back, sprinting back on defense, and just being everywhere, pressing, like you're saying, doing everything, maybe that's his way of showing his work ethic as opposed to, like...
He was pressing like crazy last night against Houston, man. Right. He was running all over the field, and I was wondering...
And at that point, you get desperate. So, like, trying to do your own thing, you know what I mean? And maybe messing up the game plan.
And I was wondering how much of that pressing is being told to him to do. right? It can't be, if everybody's not doing it as much as he is, to the intensity level that he is. I'm wondering how much of him is that of him kind of taking it on his shoulders and say, you know what, I'm going to try to bring this team up myself, because I've seen that a lot from Mirtu Suni, either at home or away. How many times have we seen Mirtu Suni go up to some of these players and he's giving them instructions himself? It seems like he's telling them kind of like what to do. Hey, feed it to me over here, cut in through the middle this way, pass me the ball. I see kind of the field better. And I've heard that it's a little bit of a translation issue with Mirtu. It's a little bit of a like a culture thing, so you can't really, harp on that too much. But could Brett Stuver be talking about that? Could he be saying that there's some players that are trying to be the X factor and they're doing these things that it kind of makes the collective idea fall apart? And it ties in to kind of what Nico Estevez was saying post-match, where he was saying that some guys are kind of, experimenting on their own in some cases. Now, Ilie Sanchez, he also mentioned a little bit about that post-match. He was talking about that the players need to be put in situations where they're struggling, because it's not always about having control. And I feel like after Austin went down, especially in that first goal, everything went to the dumpster. And talking about the Dani Pereira injury as well, which contributed to that journey to the dumpster fire. But Ilie Sanchez kind of maybe calling out the mentality of the team, where it's saying, hey, we haven't been put in these situations of stress. We need to be put more in these situations where we can grow, because the mentality was lacking against Houston, and we were exposed, completely exposed, and the team fell apart. That's exactly what Nico said. He said, we played with heart, questionable, but we lost our heads and we fell apart. Quote words from the gaffer. But B, anything you want to add on this?
Yeah, I mean, it ties into my take as well. It's like, yeah, you saw it. Like, you see this connectivity. You see players just doing their job only. Like, you see just, all right, well, let me just do a shift. Here we go.
And I got a fear, mate.
What?
I got a fear.
Oh, what is that?
Something kept me up last night. I got home late. I was working on some of the edits, and I still stayed up late even after that.
That coffee you had at Bucky's.
I had a Celsius as well. I actually made myself a coffee, and I poured a Celsius in the coffee.
God.
Yeah.
What do you call that? The age special.
Fuel, life. That's what I call it.
In an hour and a half.
Yeah, but what?
I got home in 15 minutes.
Why can't you sleep? Why can't you sleep?
I'm afraid that Nico might not be able to control some of these egos in this locker room.
Ooh, so you're already like, what do you mean you're afraid? Like, so you're like,
is Nico the guy?
Is Nico the guy then? Are you ready to
find out on the next episode?
There's two different ways to look at this. It's a tactical way and the mental aspect
also,
of it.
another way is it's 10 games.
100%. 100%.
Come on, like,
But if in 10 games, the team that you're building is falling apart mentally after they concede a goal, they're not listening to the instructions. And I'll say this, from where I was sitting at, from the press area, I was looking at Bucari because he was the winger that was more in line with my vision, right? Bucari looks completely disconnected from this team. Yeah. Whenever there's a time to either drink water or kind of have a chat or whatnot, Bucari's by himself. A lot of other players are talking, linking up or whatnot. Could it be a language issue, a culture issue, kind of going back to that, whatever. We need to see a little bit of more integration from players getting Bucari in and Bucari putting his part to trying to integrate to the squad himself. Post-match, when they were leaving the locker room going onto the bus, Bucari walking by himself. Where's the friendship? I get it, guys are frustrated. They don't have to be best friends after a 2-0 loss in a derby. I get that 100%. But I want to see a little bit more of unitedness, a little bit more of camaraderie, a little bit more of my brothers. You go to war, I go to war. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to see these cliques form. And that's up to Nico to nip it in the butt. And that's what I'm saying. I'm afraid Nico is a great human being. We know that. Smart. But is he the a-hole to get these guys in line?
Yeah, you got to be respectable too. You know, if I feel like it's a respect thing because you bring a championship caliber coach. Think of any kind of championship caliber coach you think of that run the highest clubs. They're respected. Like, so at the end of the day, it's like like it's nothing about who he is as a person, as a coach individually, but is he the guy to get the most talent out of the players that we have at the caliber that they play at? You know what I mean? They're supposed to play at.
And I go back real quick, B, and I go back to a quote that Nico dropped when he took questions midweek after the signing of Robert Taylor. He said that the club's mentality, his mentality, and Rodo's mentality is to stay competitive for every position on this roster, to have competition, because you don't want there to be a clear starter, right? Are they guys already feeling like they're clear starters? Is that something that he needs to address midweek because he sees maybe it arising and he has to get that out there in the media? I'm not saying that it is or what. I'm not putting words in people's minds. Yeah. I'm analyzing everything from the outside in, right? 100%. But are these egos? Is there egos? Is Nico the guy to nip it in the bud? Right now is the perfect moment to do it. Yeah. And if it's gonna happen, it has to be right now.
It was a big test for Nico too, because he had to read it, whether or not they downplayed it or not, whether or not they did as much homework. Because even in the press conference, he said, he was asked about people being out. Like, obviously, we didn't have Brandon Vazquez, we still don't have Dessler, and then it's kind of like, is that something that affects how you're going to make decisions in the game? Of course. Like we're talking about throwing curveballs. Like, I don't think anybody planned on Dani having to come out in the 25th minute or so. Like, yeah. And it's a big test to see how you react to those adversities too, because that's the game. Like, in a good coach, the difference between, maybe a championship caliber coach and not is how you react to those situations and, actually.
And I want to say this. Stuver also mentioned this in the mix zone whenever he was talking to us. There's nothing wrong with having an ego as a soccer player. You need some of your players to be that guy, to get the ball when there's a penalty and say, no, I'm shooting it. To get the ball when there's a free kick and say, no, I'm taking this, right? You need those guys also, right? But you also need a coach that is able to navigate their strengths and play to their advantages and put them in positions where they can succeed and just control who they are in the locker room and on the pitch. Because last night in Houston, what I saw is instructions not being communicated well to everybody, and there was some guys on one chunk of the field doing one thing, some guys on the other side of the field were doing something else, and there was a complete disconnection between the boys.
I'm not gonna lie, because I attended this game with my girlfriend. We sat really close to the visitors bench, so we were pretty close there. So it was something that she pointed out to me too. We could see, we were on the right side, so we could see Gally and we could see Buka, and she had mentioned, she's like, hey, they're not even like talking to each other, like they're just passing the ball. Another thing too, that they just look like the assignment is not clear. Instructions are unclear. Something's not. We talk about clicking. I just also think it's a testament to what is the intention, what is the system. Like, we keep going through all these different shapes. With Vazquez being now, okay, maybe Usuni's going to get a little bit more space. We hear Nico talking about, he needs a little bit more space. Of course, now we're using him at 9. So it's a lot of things, a lot of moving parts, but it's a perfect test. And I just feel like we failed miserably. Like, we made Houston look good, and they just really not like that. It's their second win. They had a very similar season to us in the way that they've only scored like one goal every single game, like that they've, had not a draw, not a loss.
Yeah.
So I feel like they're having a relatively similar season, but we're just getting the results. They're getting, I don't know, man. Houston sucks. That's all I gotta say.
The thing that hits this, even like makes us like even more of a upset, is because if you look at the narrative of the games how we've been playing, it's like, we could have won this game 3-0 if we would have made our chances.
This was supposed to be the one.
Like, we could have beat Portland, we could have beat Colorado, we could have done this if we just barely our chances. It's coming. Yeah. Apart from the Vancouver game where we just got beat up, this was the game, another game to do. This was we went in it with. There was nothing. It's like, I don't know what happened between.
There was no chemistry.
Something happened. Someone happened.
No, let me add a quote here from Nico Estevez where he says, quote, I think we have very clear chances today, and the other day, then one day, we'll score the goals. This is the only thing I can tell you. I don't have the crystal ball. It's difficult for me. The opponent didn't have to do much, and they scored. I hope that this changes. Sometimes there are moments that teams have where they don't score goals, but I'm very optimistic that we will score goals. Now, the fan base didn't really take that quote very well.
It's getting old.
He even looked frustrated when he was answering this question. He looked frustrated when Phil West was asking the question about the goals. But Logan, what'd you think about the gaffer kind of talking about he doesn't have the crystal ball?
Yeah, I think we're gonna get tired of hearing it. If that keeps being what's said. So of course none of us know when the goals are gonna come. But at the end of the day, like, there's only a couple more variables, right? We talk about looking at past couple of seasons. Maybe we didn't have the best quality in players. Now we bring on some guys with quality, and we just all the pieces have to work out together. There's so much more that goes into it, but man, I feel like we did not see the best out of the team whatsoever. The guys look confused. There's still a lot of potential. I feel like people are ready to jump off the boat, but this team could be dangerous. I'm starting to wonder, is this a matter of getting the best out of your players? You know what I mean? As opposed to not having the right players.
And going to something that B said a couple minutes ago, he said that it is just 10 games, right? I know 10 games is 10 weeks. If you've been to every single game, it feels like a long time for you already. And it's frustrating that the team is not clicking yet. But if you think about the grand scheme of things, when you're talking about an MLS season, we're still very early into this journey, right? Nico Estevez, this is still a brand new team. They're still trying to figure things out. Exactly. And then you get hit with the Dani Pereira injury. You get hit with the Brandon Vazquez, I don't know what kind of injury it is. Either it was a stomach kick or something, right? You get hit with the silly Brandon Hines red card that's been your most consistent defender this year, and you've had one of the best defenses in MLS. Your talisman is out off of a bonehead move, and that's on him 100%. 3 curveballs that Estevez had to deal with in this match. I mean, we also got to think about how much that has an effect on somebody's game plan. He is getting paid to handle these situations. That's what the tactical puzzle is, to figure this out,
bro,
right?
It's Houston, bro. It's Houston. We gave them their second dub.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. But you don't plan for an illness. You don't plan for a bonehead move from your best center back. You don't plan for Dani Pereira to injure himself off of a long range effort. Do you plan for that?
Those are factors.
Do you plan for that?
No, of course not.
Okay.
Nah, bro, it's not an excuse against Houston, bro. Against Houston, bro, we're not going up against Vancouver. We're not going up against
100%.
Come on, bro.
I understand, man. I understand what you're saying. It's no excuse. And he even says it's no excuse. Bro. He doesn't want to put excuses. But I feel like those factors are also determining situations in a game like this. Yep. I just wanted to put that out there, mate. Now, one thing that I did want to mention with Austin FC here in the next coming games is the Dani Pereira topic, actually. We know that he is going to be out. We don't know exactly for how long. Nico Estevez says that he's going to be out for a long time. However, tests still have to be made, so it was kind of weird that he made that verdict. Just thoughts on what happened to Dani. He spoke to us after the match. He walked out the locker room by himself, but he was limping. You could tell that he was walking with some difficulty. Not too much, but some for sure was there. And Nico says that he's going to be a long time out. His quad was in a very aggressive action on the shot, and I think he pulled his quad a little bit. We have to do an MRI and everything, but it sounds like it could be at least a month. I mean, one of the busiest months coming up for Austin FC, and you don't have Dani Pereira. Exactly. Are people going to finally realize how important Dani Pereira is to this team?
Another test. That's what it is, you know? We talk about all these variables, all these things you don't account for.
Hey, we praise our midfield, too. The midfield stat, there's competition. Well, hey,
and we have to, and this is the way we're going to have to find out.
Exactly.
You know, it sucks. You know, injuries are part of the game. You never want to see your player get hurt. But I feel like maybe Driussi gets the shot. Maybe we see something different. You see different minutes for different people. We're going to have to see how he adjusts, how you work with the pieces that you have. That's what it all comes down to. We're talking about whether or not, and I'm sure we got it on the rundown, but bringing in Robert Taylor, figuring out how that piece fits into the system. And then is it going to be a matter of, he needs to acclimate. You know what I mean? Is it going to
You'd hope not, because he's coming from the league.
And exactly. That, but he needs to get adjusted to our system. And you know what I mean? Kind of making, not more excuses, but how are you going to mess with the pieces in the puzzle?
This is a perfect moment for Salovic and Driussi to step up. Because Stuver came on, atrocious game.
Yeah.
Got the quickest yellow card in his career, most likely.
You know what I mean?
Not impressed. Not impressed with what Driussi had to offer in the match against Houston. Bersar Salovic came in minute 32. The game plan was never to start Salovic. And I know people don't want to hear this, but he and Salovic and Svatok were two players that were absolutely destroyed by the humidity in Houston. Now, when people hear me say this, they think, oh, this guy is crazy. This guy cannot be throwing that in there. These people are coming from climates that you've probably never experienced in your life. The humidity in Houston is different for them, 100%. They're not Texas boys like you and I or whoever's listening to the pod on this other side, right? you could tell Svatok was completely destroyed by the 75th,
was
80th
gassed.
minute.
That
You could tell Savovic coming on in the 32nd minute was not in the game plan.
Not
He was
planning
benched
to.
for this game for that exact reason. And
got
I
a
would die
point,
on
bro.
that hill.
You got a point, bro.
Savovic was exposed in this game because of the humidity. And I know you don't want to hear that when you're from Texas, but you got to think where these people
Yeah,
come
bro.
from.
Not to mention
Facts.
having to come in like with Danny going down, like not really getting a full warm up. But you're right. I agree.
And
with
I don't
you.
want to
And
put it
also-
as an excuse,
No,
bro.
you're bringing a big factor because we went to the game with Stefan, and he told us that today was one of the hottest days of the
There you
year
go.
over there. He's like, this would be the hottest day of the year. Like, people would take off work because of the weather is like this. Like, and it was 83 degrees.
But Texas ears hear that and they think soft. Game's gone.
Nah.
Come to work with me.
Nah.
They hear that and that's the first
Imagine
response.
you going to where it's like negative something degrees throughout the year. Like,
I just wanted to put that out there.
it is a good
is
factor for sure.
To me, after the Brsar-Salovic injury, after the Brsar-Salovic substitution when Danny got hurt, it was the beginning of the end for Austin FC because the game plan went out the window at that point. After that, Salovic, if you ask me, he's kind of your ace coming off of the bench when you look at your options that you had on there. You didn't have Vazquez, so that kind of shake things up. But when I looked at the bench for Austin FC yesterday against Houston, there was nothing on the bench that made me think we're going to get a goal from this bench. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not sending a shot to the guys that are on the bench at all, but there was guys that were missing. There was injuries that we had
Not
to
to
deal
mention we
with in
couldn't
this
even
game.
sub Svatak off.
I mean,
That's what I'm saying.
John and
exactly.
CJ came in.
You going to play Gomez?
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. And it's no shot to Gomez, but is he ready for this level? It could have been a 3-0, 4-0. And it's nothing on him. It's just the level. The level is different. You know what I'm saying? He's an emergency break the glass signing. If Svatak would have gotten hurt, of course Gomez would have came in. And B, you do mention CJ. He just got
That's
a
what I was gonna
contract extension.
Yeah.
He came on and he seems like he
Well, we did the-
understood the assignment that he had, which was
Exactly.
kind of
Yeah. We
push
used
the
our
ball
one
upfield.
tool that we know is for certain is throw in Jean and someone to run after his crosses.
Yes.
We basically did that against Houston. Jean came in.
That's our ace off the bench.
Yeah, that's our like. I would think Sabo would be our ace, but like the Jean, hey, let's get Jean out there and let's get someone to run after his crosses. Like we
Let's-
did that, and even that wasn't.
Let's talk about Robert Taylor now, because I feel like this is a good way to talk about what he's going to bring into this team. Do you gentlemen think, and people at home, do you guys think that Robert Taylor is going to be enough to connect this offense? Do you think he's the missing link that this team needs to open the floodgates?
That's tough.
He plays
bro.
multiple positions.
That's
he plays the
tough.
cam. He plays the left wing, the right wing. He can also apparently play the 8. But do you think that Robert Taylor is going to be the missing link that this offense needs?
Couldn't. I mean, I would like
That's
to believe
tough.
it couldn't hurt.
That's tough.
It's only up. You know what I mean?
I that's crazy expectations.
I need a
for-
little bit of more
for
confidence,
Taylor
mate.
from him, bro. Like, I guess I would say no. I mean, unless something crazy, like unless he does it. But we mentioned Usuni, Bukhari. It's all gonna fall on Taylor to kind of get this going. I don't think so, bro. I think Taylor will give us.
But
a
I don't
boost.
think. I think he'll obviously help us more than he's gonna hurt us. You know what I mean? It's good to have that kind of quality, especially if want to talk about a rotational player. Like, you know, if maybe it'll give an opportunity to be. I don't know, have more competition with like Obrian, like we're talking
That's a
about
lot,
Obrian, like
bro,
you're
to
talking about
ask for
who's a
him.
lock starter and stuff like that. Like maybe we can
Well,
get some more.
maybe,
could, but
maybe I
that's a
can
lot, bro, to
maybe I
ask.
can provide a little bit of more confidence for the folks out there that believe that he will be the missing link, because I think he will be.
You think he's like that?
I think he will
you
be.
think he'll be like that? Unlock? You
I think
that
he will be, and let me tell you
boom,
why.
like-
Let me tell you why.
Okay.
Because the words that we're hearing from the coach on this signing is one of the reasons why they brought him in is because of his final decision making, because he makes the final pass. He knows how to find guys that are making runs in. What are these guys doing? Well, they're at least making runs. They're at least, they're at least, kind of following the routes that a striker has to, but there's nobody necessarily feeding them. We lost Driussi. Everybody was saying that we needed a creative midfielder player. We need that camera, whatnot. Well, you kind of get a guy with similar profile when you have Robert Taylor. Now, we were talking about if he's going to acclimate or whatnot. He's coming from the league, so he should hit the ground running. If he doesn't, that's on him, right? Now, he was with Vancouver. He was with his team in Vancouver. He traveled back to Miami because of all this trade that happened and whatnot. So he's match fit. He's game ready, if I'm not mistaken. He's only lost protagonism with Inter Miami because of the players that they have signed, and they're getting ready to sign more guys. They used him as just like a financial move to get the money that they want, to bring in guys that they want, right? It's not that they sold him because he was booty, right? They sold him because they need the money for what they want. And
Especially
Miami
when
is a very
Miami's
ambitious
cooking.
club.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm saying. Robert Taylor, and we have this tweet here from Kobe Gordon, which tweeting things up for Austin FC. It says, note on the Robert Taylor trade. Sources told the Statesman that the acquisition cost to the club will be less than the $750,000 reported. Miami had bought down a portion of his 2025 salary, so Austin will save $286,000, almost $300,000, most of which will come in a lesser salary cap hit. So that sweetens the whole Robert Taylor thing. But of course, the numbers don't have much to do with what he's going to do on the field. But when you're talking about a guy that's played with Messi, with Luis Suarez, he knows how to identify elite runs. And Osuni, if anything, he has elite DNA in his gameplay. He's coming from historical clubs in Spain. He's played against England.
High tier.
He's high tier.
Yeah.
I feel like this is what guys like Osuni need in order to unlock those goals that everybody is waiting for. Robert Taylor.
You're hyping me up, brother. You're hyping me up.
It's what I do best. It's what I do best.
And I'm starting to lean your way because you're making great, valid points. And that is true. I wanted to bring up the Messi thing. Like, just imagine playing with Messi and learning things about the game that you're like, oh, and having the ability of being that guy that other super, like,
it's that mindset.
Yeah, that mindset of being like, oh, I'm not gonna, like that Scottie Pippen kind of, you know how like, oh, I'm not gonna be the guy, but I can be good at helping the guy. You know what I mean? So,
anybody that has 18 goals and 18 assists and a Messi friend team, I respect.
Yeah.
Those are solid numbers for me in 116 matches.
I remember when he first exploded off the scene, it was Messi's first year here, and he was going off with Messi, you know, in the Leagues Cup and everything. So
just two quick stats that I mentioned on the space that we had midweek. Messi's first 3 games with Inter Miami, Robert Taylor had what was it?
Imagine.
It was 3 goals. Sorry, he had goals and assists. I forget the number.
Yeah,
but
I
in the
can
Leagues
tell you.
Cup, when they won it with Messi, in 7 games, he had 7 goal contributions.
He
3
went
goals,
off.
4 assists.
And
I think
I remember-
Messi's first 3 games, he had 2 goals, 3 assists.
I
Something
remember
like that.
watching that and knowing that because, you know, when Messi first got here, especially the first ever Leagues Cup, like we were all locked in on Messi games.
Look-
Don't cap out there. Don't cap like
Everybody was
nah.
locked in, 100%. I was watching him too.
We had people link like his first season here. Every game was like everybody would link up to watch. So I remember when Robert Taylor went off.
So that's why I have confidence that Robert Taylor has the potential to unlock this
But-
offense.
It's all about
I
how
really
you use
do.
the puzzle piece.
But
that's what it all
it's
comes
not.
down to.
It's not.
We know he has quality. We know all the
And
players.
I even go
quality.
further. I even go further and say when he comes in, I want to see Bukhari benched.
And it's things like that
Damn.
that are.
I hate to say it. I hate to say it because I don't know how the player is going to take it, but it seems like he responds well when he's sent to the bench. Look at the LA game; he wins that PK. And Salome Quintero told me this in the press area. She's like, "I've said this all the time about Bukhari." She says that Bukhari is a 45-minute player, and he's a second half 45-minute player. He's a guy to bring off the bench to attack tired defenses.
True.
He shouldn't be a guy that's starting for Austin FC. That's her take.
But how old is Bukhari? It's like those are good points. But like Bukhari can't be like I'm gonna be a 45-minute player. Like no, like the price tag where he comes from. We're expecting that 90. You know what I mean?
But yes, mate. But going back to the Anthony thing, how much fault does a player have what his price tag is? How much fault does a player have that you paid $7 million for him? That's not his fault.
That is not his fault.
Is it Anthony's fault that Man United broke the bank for him? No. Is it Bukhari's fault that Austin FC broke the bank for him at one point?
No, it's not. It's definitely not his fault.
He's 26 years old. Robert Taylor is 30 years old, and I 100% want to see Robert Taylor on that wing.
I agree.
100%.
And we are going to see
That's
it.
not
You know,
bad.
that's why I say it couldn't hurt. You know what I mean? We'll try and see how it
But
works.
to me, it's just like that type of signing, the name. I know he's played in MLS. Like, it's just tough to put that on him, especially when he's the new guy coming in.
No, one guy that I do want to talk about real quick before we got into the Minnesota topic, haven't really talked about him a lot, is the Owen Wolf. Now he is attributed the second goal to the mistake that he had, or the second goal is attributed to the mistake that he had. I don't know if Stuver was kind of throwing a shot at Owen Wolf there in his quote that I read earlier, but I really don't think so. Owen Wolf clearly, and I missed this in the tweet that I put out. Owen Wolf clearly could have done better in the way that he clears that ball out. I think the decision-making there was atrocious. But Ilie Sanchez comes out in defense for Owen Wolf, rightfully so, and he says, "What do you want me to tell our best player so far?" Ilie Sanchez, what a cheeky response. What do you want to tell our best player this season so far? That he messed up to stop doing that? I mean, how did you take Owen Wolf's mistake and then Ilie Sanchez's words?
Yeah, Ilie really stood up.
He did stand up for him. He did.
And it's true. I mean, when you look about contributions. Owen Wolf, we know that he had, a few game-winning assists for us, and he's been arguably one of our better players. It's couldn't tell if he was clearing the bar, if he was trying to send one over the top. I don't know who he was passing it to. It's unfortunate, but Ilie, for him to back his player like that, back a teammate, and really at least just keep it real. Like, look, I just got to keep these guys, do what you do. That's what he's talking about. Just keep doing what you're doing. And I don't know. For me, it's a matter of if we are really going to be able to get the best out of all these players.
Now,
it's such a melting pot.
Ilie says, what do you want me to say to our best player so far? There's nothing to say to Owen in this case other than keep doing what you're doing.
Man.
He is the one that has been putting the team on his shoulders. So nothing to say to him other than please keep doing what you are doing offensively and defensively for the team. We are being able to have positive performances because of him.
He knows what to say.
A lot of credit.
And
you've kind of said a lot of that this season has been
and
great.
guess what? I'm going to side with everything he just said. Look, I'm not going to say he doesn't deserve stick for the mistake. He deserves the criticism for making that mistake.
Yeah, of course.
He deserves to be like, oh, come on, you effed up, man. You effed up. And it basically kind of killed the game, whether you want to believe it or not. I mean, I know the Dani situation as well, but on top of that, so he deserves a stick. But Ilie is kind of speaking facts as far as maybe he's been our best player, bro. Yeah. Maybe he's been our best player. And every player is gonna have these moments. Like,
you gotta look at the bigger picture.
You gotta look at the bigger picture here. You can't destroy this kid. We need him to get going. We need him to. It was a horrendous mistake, but.
And people were destroying Owen. You know what I saw online? They were saying Owen gave the game to his daddy.
Oh,
it was that narrative. It was the narrative that Owen
That's
gave the game to his dad. They're saying that Owen gave the game to his dad.
There's no way.
I didn't even see Owen say hi to Josh Wolf in the tunnel. There's nothing there. It's his dad, but Owen is a pro player.
I'm riding with Owen. I know it was a mistake, and he's gonna get it. He's gonna get it. You messed up 100%. This game,
he makes Vazquez
he kind of It was a horrendous mistake. You gave him the game.
It's the Sioux,
but
damn.
we got Minnesota next, and we need you to keep going. And Ilie is saying something that I agree with. I think he's been our best player.
Now, right before the camera cuts to Houston's number 9 hitting the C, it looks like Svatok just looks at Owen and saying, "What did you do?" It's like, just like,
like I'm so tired, bro.
But right there, so many things that Owen could have done. You had Bidu, you had Stuver. John is even like, "What the heck?"
Look.
The worst possible scenario happened.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's just not everybody's on the same page, and I don't know if we're really seeing the best out of these players.
And I'll say this: in a tough situation, when you have the ball in your own box, there's very few other players that you would want the ball to be at their feet other than Owen Wolf. He's had one of the best escapes out of pressure in this whole club. Yeah. In this game, he got out of pressure multiple times against Monterrey. He gave us one of the best highlights this club has ever seen when he evades 3 Monterrey players to find Dani for his first goal at Q2, right?
Yeah.
Owen is one of the best players with the ball at his feet for Austin FC. This is just one of the dumbest mistakes I've ever seen from him.
Yeah, horrible mistake.
It happens. I hate to say it, but it happens. And it sucks that it was against Houston.
3 points, basically.
Yeah. You sure it didn't cost 6? Just kidding, boys. But guys, Minnesota coming up next. Now, to talk about some results around the league to kind of go into this topic that we're getting into. I mean, where's the confidence level going into next week here at home? It is Q2, home advantage. You cannot, downplay it. And the boys, again, like the Vancouver, they want to respond. We need to see another response. And that's why we can't let this slide.
Test.
We can't let this Houston game slide, right? But Minnesota, they lost to Vancouver. And if you look at the standings, Vancouver is in first place with 23, rightfully so. They won their game. Austin is in second still, by the grace of the Verde God. Dios es de Austin FC. Austin FC has 16 points. Minnesota has 16 points as well. Colorado has 16 points. So the top 4 is Vancouver with a little bit of gap, and then second, third, and fourth is 16-point tied up. But Austin leads that race.
Bro, it's insane to me how we're looking at this right now.
Yeah.
We're insane. It's like
2 weeks in a row, results have gone our way.
Yeah.
2 weeks in a row. San Diego is really helping us. Vancouver beat Minnesota. And you got Colorado also creeping up there as well. But, you're not going to get these lifelines all the time, mate.
No, and especially the schedule that we have coming up. It's about to get busy, bro. Yeah. It's about to get busy.
And you lose Dani.
And you lose Dani potentially. So, is it sustainable? I think that's...
It's not sustainable, brother.
That's why I feel like we're just
sustainable.
Not seeing the best out of everything. But we gotta have patience. What were you saying before? It's a test of patience. Like
It is a test of
It
patience.
is a
That's
test
what
of
it's-
patience, bro.
It's a young fan base, and we just want immediate results, immediate, but
But
long-term
where-
investment.
And if people are listening, or
Where's the confidence level at, though, when we're talking about Minnesota, this game coming up on Saturday? Because if you look at the percentages here, we have Austin FC with the 40% percentage to win this game. The draw is at 28%, and Minnesota is at 32%. I'm sure home advantage plays into it, but it seems like a very even match based off of the percentages from Vegas.
confidence-wise, it's tough to say because of the defeat in Houston, but also
Yeah, I don't have very
It's-
much like a lot of confidence.
is-
Like,
yeah, no
it's been too
confidence.
long that we're like, this is gonna be the game. Like, you know what I mean?
I
But
think automatically playing at Q2 Stadium builds some sort of minimal
It's aura.
aura.
It's aura.
You would
You know,
think.
confidence. But as far as what the players are going to show, I mean, I think they're going to go for it as well. Obviously, it's at home. I think we're going to go attack this game how we've been.
you would hope.
And,
You would
and,
hope.
and play. They got to put this Houston game behind ASAP because games are coming in and they got to rebuild that,
Especially May.
You do have to put this game behind you ASAP, but the fans are going to have it on their mind for a while.
Because it's Houston. I'm
'Cause
telling you.
it's
I'm
Houston.
telling you. Like, if the players are somehow listening, like, we're like, man, why are they like tripping so bad? We have it's Houston, bro. Like,
Houston fucking
you know this, Danny Owen. You know this, Stu. You know this, Gallagher. You know this. The fans travel and go to these games, and it just means so much more. So. The criticism is going to be that times more because of the opponent, because
Now,
it's Houston. so-
Minnesota, they lost 3-1 to Vancouver. Y'all were telling me that it was like a B Vancouver side. Of course,
That's what I saw, yeah.
they have things going on midweek themselves.
they got-
That's what
But
happens when you
They're up
you
2-0
know,
against
you play
Miami,
Miami
and
and
they
Con-
conquer
yeah,
champions,
it's
and they're up
levels,
2-0.
so I don't know.
I'm
Vancouver's looking
seeing,
hella nice.
I'm seeing this loss to Vancouver 3-1, but I'm seeing that Minnesota was able to get a punch. Minnesota was able to get a punch. We weren't even
Minnesota's
able to make
playing
contact.
nice.
We weren't even able to make. We were Canelo against Mayweather. That was us.
Yeah, that was.
You know what I'm
actually,
saying?
yeah.
At least Minnesota was like,
If it would have stopped in the seventh round,
Maidana got a lick on him. You know what I'm saying?
Maidana's arrow with Mayflower. that was-
Maidana. That's what I'm saying. At least they got a lick. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? We were like Canelo, where Mayweather was looking at the ropes like, what is this guy
shit.
punching at? You remember that?
Yeah,
You
of
remember
course.
he was
of
looking at the
course.
ropes like
that was
that?
a great analogy. I'm not gonna lie.
That was us.
Yeah, yeah.
But
And
we'll
they were
see.
Maidana.
We'll see what happens with this when this Minnesota side comes into to Q2. It's a good thing that it's at home. You're able to respond in front of your own fans. And just the fact that Austin FC has had results go their way the past 2 weekends, I mean, you can't be mad at that when you're Nico, when you're the players. And Stuver even said post-match, he says, if you asked us at the beginning of the season, after week 9 or after week 10, depending on what the results are after this weekend, we would take it. If Austin was it with his place.
yeah.
But
Oh,
there's two
yeah.
sides of the coin. There's two sides of the coin. The football that this team is currently
Yes.
playing, it's not second place level. And we're gonna
It's not sustainable.
Oh,
it's not
no.
sustainable. We can get exposed if we don't pick it up. But we got Robert Taylor coming in. We still have an opportunity to turn this around from the rut that we are currently in. I mean,
Not to mention summer window when that gets here.
yes, because there's two things when you're looking at this table. Austin is in second because of a great defense and results that have gone their way. But the football, the level that they're playing, the attack, is not that of a second place team in the Western Conference. Am I wrong to say that?
No,
No, you're not wrong
You're
at
not.
all.
You're dead. You're spot on. You're spot on.
But I'm not ready to close the door on this side. And I mentioned, I kind of doubted Nico earlier. Maybe it sounded like I did. But I'm saying that this is the moment for him to put his foot down. He's going to say, all right, guys, you're going to play how I want you to play. It's
Big
Nico
test.
ball. And this is the way that it's going to be from now on. And if you don't want that, well, guess what? I got Robert Taylor coming in. If you're not going to listen to what I'm saying, there's guys ready to take your spot. And in MLS, it's very forgiving. You can spend the next 5 games trying shit out. Nothing's going to happen. You don't get relegated, right? You're
Exactly.
in
You got nothing to
second
lose.
place. It's kind of tight or whatnot. But MLS is very forgiving.
Yeah.
And I feel like it creates mediocrity
forgiving
sometimes.
almost.
I mean, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Or when
Let's
things
not-
get tough, it isn't much of a issue as you
So
think.
this is a call to action more than doubt. It's a call to action. Nico,
Test.
put your foot down, Nico. Put your foot down. Talk to these boys. Get in their heads. Talk to them, Nico. Put
gotta
your
get
foot down,
going.
mate. This is the time to do it. This is the time to do it, Nico.
Especially with a packed schedule, and we running out of. Oh, it's early. It's early. You know what I mean? We gotta.
100%.
It starts with the habits that you.
Un
create every
retiro,
single
un
day.
retiro, bro.
Un retiro.
bro.
Una
We gotta
limpia.
get una
Una
limpia.
limpia.
Un
Get
retiro,
the
bro.
egg.
We gotta
Get the
get
egg, fam.
We gotta get these guys
I
together.
got connects. I
Yeah.
got connects if you need them. I got connects. I don't know. I remember last year they did like Austin. They did like a smoke cleanse of the jersey. Maybe some of that. I don't know. But gentlemen, also a little bit of a quick news. Stefan Cleveland joins Austin FC 2 in their match today against Dino Dos. I'm sure he's getting ready for the Open Cup. Busy month coming up. So he's kind of getting kind of the engine
some
running.
action, yeah.
You know, he's kind of getting the tractor ready. You know, so hopefully he does good. If he doesn't keep a clean sheet tonight, come on, Stefan. You know, gotta keep a clean sheet tonight.
Oh, shit.
Gotta keep. I don't care. I don't care.
Well, you don't care.
I don't care. We gotta keep a clean sheet tonight, Stefan. Gotta keep a clean sheet. But last thing, score prediction for the Minnesota game. If you want to put a number on it.
Yeah. Like we're all saying, playing at home, you would hope that, everything's going to go your way and be on your side. But we've seen a couple games where we played at home. Maybe we didn't look the sharpest. So I don't know if that's going to be the missing piece or not. But I want to see us play a good game. And I feel like for the past couple of games, we kind of been wanting to see the best out of this team. And Minnesota is playing nice. I feel like we're just not going to be able to have our own break. We'll do like a draw. I'm going to say 1-1. I say we concede one, we score one. It's not the fairy tale bounce back, but we get a draw.
Recent games, Minnesota lost to Vancouver 3-1, like I mentioned. They tied 0-0 against FC Dallas, tied 0-0 against Toronto. They beat New York City FC 2-1. They beat Real Salt Lake 2-0, tied against the Galaxy 2-2, tied against SKC 3-3, beat San Jose 1-0. So this isn't a team to necessarily be afraid of and all this and that, but a team that is in third place in the Western Conference, maybe they've gotten lucky like Austin FC has in some results that have gone their way. But I think this is going to be a very even game based on the way that both of these teams have been playing. I see a lot of similar Austin FC results in this Minnesota side.
Right.
But Austin FC has to win it at home. You have to win it because of two reasons. You're at home and you got to bounce back. You need a response to your fan base to make the people believe, because people believe when you spend all the money, but the results haven't reflected the investment that was made. And there's still time, though. There's still time, like we said. But, gentlemen, moving into some other topics here around the world, I think some of the most attractive things going on in the world of football. There's so many things. I mean, it's difficult to kind of pick where to start, right? You had Wrexham be promoted. Liverpool won the league.
The big one.
Is there anything else?
The big one. The big one.
No.
It's okay.
And Barcelona winning the Copa del Rey final. I'm not gonna lie. At one point, I thought Real Madrid was gonna edge it out. They were up 2-1 with 10 minutes left, and then Ferran Torres, there in the 84th minute, equalizes 2-2. Go to extra time, and then Jules Koundé, the dude that looks like a maniac running through New York City in the rain, is the one that scores the winner in this match. And I knew Madrid wasn't going to win this game, but I had hope in the last couple of minutes there, and it's the hope that kills you. It's the hope that kills you, mate. And leading up to this game, there was a circus of media quotes, circus of press conferences. There was so many stuff going into this game where it was just annoying to even think about it. Madrid was, threatening to not show up because of the referees. They didn't hold a press conference. They didn't hold a training session. Did that affect them in the long run? I don't know. Today we see that Ancelotti has agreed to leave Madrid in June to join Brazil. So and then the Arsenal game. I mean, it seems like Madrid hasn't been off the hook since the Arsenal defeat. Yeah. And congratulations to Barcelona. I dislike this team to the core, but they've been doing things right, and they have a talent like Lamine Yamal that
for sure
is just out of this world. And
oh my God, bro, you're hurting.
They have Hansi Flick, who is playing phenomenal. They have this team playing phenomenal, and just congrats to everybody except Vanilla Mexican. Congrats to everybody.
Hey, bro.
Lamine Yamal is cold, though.
Yeah.
You gotta give it up.
From where they came from all those levers and all that crazy stuff, and how they were going to be the next AC Milan. That's crazy. How they're essentially got one down. It seems like La Liga's going to go their way. They're in the Champions League semifinals. Could they treble? It's still there.
It's still there.
It's still there.
That's the scariest part.
And so from the bottom of the bottom, the lever era, the all that stuff going on about, just Barca being the next, like I mentioned, to potentially trebling. Like, so you got to give this club, you got to give them props. Obviously, like you mentioned, Lamine Yamal. when your most famous take is to bench him. Remember?
Yeah, I remember that.
So-
what a bad take that was.
Nah, you were defending it like pretty
Yeah,
tough too.
yeah.
You weren't letting it go.
No, it's
But-
because I just didn't want him to get hurt. I felt like they
That
were
was your
gonna
angle. That was your
they
angle.
were gonna like target him, and he showed that even
That 17
you know
is crazy.
you could even target him. He's still gonna make you look silly.
And a treble is okay. A treble is what it is. We know what it is. And if you don't know what it is if you win all 3 of the trophies that you're competing for that season, domestic, European, all 3 trophies. So Barca has done it twice. So if they were to do it again, they would be the only club ever to treble a treble. Or no, to have 3 trebles is what I'm saying. It's like it's crazy
a hat
shit.
trick of
I
trebles.
don't know how people like maybe Barca fans are like, yeah, but I'm trying to make it. This is a big deal, bro. This is a very big deal, like a massive deal. And they took down Real Madrid. Just
Yeah, they did take down Real Madrid, but I do want to give credit to the players, the Real Madrid players, for putting up a fight. I felt like they put up a great fight.
I was asking Diego and Primo on the road trip. They were like, "Oh, we're gonna get spat like 4-0, 5-0."
Yeah,
they were
that was
like,
the
it wasn't even gonna be close.
Yeah.
It was gonna be a slaughter.
I felt that way also.
Yeah.
I felt that because also the aura, the energy going into this game, I felt like it was difficult, and I don't want to say that it ruined the match because I backed Madrid and everything that they were going against that referee, De Burgos or whatever his name is. This is one of the worst referees Real Madrid could have in any final against Barcelona. It's just facts. This is a guy that has had a messy phone case. I mean, a referee shouldn't be able to have those kind of phone cases. And
what?
It goes into the integrity of
about
the
phone
game.
cases,
Do you
okay.
see NBA refs with LeBron James on their phone case? And think about how NBA refs are, right? You know what I'm saying? Like the referee can influence a game whether you like it or not. And I feel like a better referee could have been chosen. It could have been more of a neutral thing. But
Oh my God,
at the end of the day, the reality is that these are 2 of the teams that have benefited most from referee decisions, let it be right or wrong. Barcelona is no saint. They literally have a case where documents are literally found that they paid.
What are we doing
the
now?
head
What
of
are
the
we doing
ref,
here?
and even going back to and even going
we talking about the game still?
and, hold on, and even going to years back when they were able to get by Chelsea off of that famous match.
That's probably the most famous.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah,
that's
but
what
it
I'm
goes
saying.
both ways,
But
mate. There's
that's
people listening.
exact- But that's exactly what I said. These are 2 teams that have benefited from those things. Madrid has benefited so much from bad calls or from referees giving them calls. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%.
So you can't really harp on it too much, but I feel the referee could have been different.
Okay, I mean, sure, you're a Madrid fan. I'm sure you believe the ref. The ref. Look,
I really think it could have been different. And people want to talk about the Real Madrid TV. They need to be banned or whatnot. The mistakes that they brought up about him, I mean, they were rightfully so.
no,
Right?
sure.
Did you see the video that they published?
No, I didn't see the video, but I know we're.
Did you see the video they
No,
published?
I
Real
haven't
Madrid
seen
TV? Oh, very well put together, honestly.
But look, if you look at Barcelona's schedule, they knocked out the first test, Copa del Rey. They got Inter Milan in the Champions League next. Then they got Real Valladolid in La Liga.
Valladolid.
Valladolid?
Wait, Villarreal.
No, right here at the bottom.
Where?
So they got Inter next.
Oh, yeah.
They got
Valladolid.
Valladolid and the La Liga. They got Inter again, second leg. And they got Madrid in La Liga. So
Vamos Inter.
all that stuff that we've been talking, that I've mentioned about Barca, this is that, it's going to come down to the next 4 games, brother.
Yeah, I think they could do it.
It's going to come down to the next 4 games, brother.
It's up to Inter.
This is peak football, man. If you're listening just to Austin and you're like, oh, I love Austin, this is peak right here. This is quality top. Like, watch these games, bro.
Hey, God. It's me again. It's me again. Now, maybe since the Pope passed away, an Italian team wins Champions League. Inter de Milan.
You'll be rooting for Inter?
Could they be fighting for that extra chip on their shoulder? Right? Just somebody stop these guys. Somebody stop these guys. They could win La Liga. I don't care, but don't let them win the Champions League, please.
Treble?
Please don't let them treble.
Treble is crazy.
Yeah, I might disappear if they
Treble's
treble.
crazy,
I might disappear.
bro.
It is. But Inter, they won the Milan derby, no? Didn't they?
Yeah, I believe so. Let me check
They
them
did
out.
win it. They did win it. They defeated Milan, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, no, was it the other way
They
around?
lost to Roma and said, yeah, standings, they're second place to Napoli.
Oh, I'm tripping. I got it mixed up. It's so difficult to keep up with the different Milans. No, but
You got
see.
AC Milan, right?
Yes. You got it there. We have it here. Milan. AC Milan defeated Inter Milan 3-0 in the Coppa Italia. That was Wednesday,
Oh, the
April
Coppa Italia.
23rd. Now, Santi Jimenez, bro, he's been disappeared from Milan. Luka Jovic, he scored a brace. Yeah. And then Tijani Rangers scored. How do you say that? Rangers.
Couldn't tell you, bro. I couldn't tell you.
Tijani.
I wouldn't even have attempted it, man.
TR. Let's call him TR. Let's call him TR. But they win 3-0. So hopefully Inter has a little bit of more time to focus on that Champions League matchup, and they're able to knock out Barcelona. We'll see what happens there. But Liverpool, they win the league. Shout out to my Jayazi. Was the Prem too easy this year?
This year was just...
Yeah, I was going to say it was a lock for them for a while.
Was it too easy?
Bro, this year's Prem has been one of the most boring in a minute, bro.
Mid-race.
It was so mid-season, bro. I compare it to the City season when they just... It was just like, wow, when they just dominated. But
you got to give Arne Slot credit, though.
Season, bro.
You got to give Arne Slot credit.
The three clubs going down are three clubs that came up, and they've been relegated for, it's official now, but it's been a minute, basically. So all that's left is the Champions League.
I think the craziest storyline of the Prem that might not be talked about enough is that United went so low. They were second to last place of the... it was Tottenham, and then it was United, Tottenham, and then the zone. Right?
Yeah.
You had those three teams that went down.
Look where Tottenham's at.
Well, Man United went up to 14th now, but United, Everton, Tottenham, and West Ham. That's a crazy bottom four before the zone.
Crazy bottom four, bro.
That could be a top four.
It isn't like the expectations should be. You know what I mean? But
yeah, brand wise.
Yeah.
But
all that's left in the Premier League is the Champions League. Basically, we're fighting. There's 3 spots up for grabs, and there's 5 clubs that are fighting for it.
So you got Chelsea in Champions League zone. How do you feel about this season? Feel like it was okay?
It depends on if we can make Champions League, bro. It'll change my thoughts. But Palmer started insanely on fire and died down and hasn't ramped up again. So we've been scraping by. Good goal by Jackson against Everton to get these dubs. We got to win out. We got to win out the rest of the 4 games. Same goes for Forest, same goes for Newcastle if they want to win the Champions League. So these next games for Newcastle, for City, for Chelsea, for Forest, for Villa are, again, must-see TV. You got to lock in and watch these games because they are fighting for 3 spots, for 4 games left. Forest has a game in hand, right? So if they win their game in hand, they go 63. They go top. They go 3.
Yeah, you're right.
They go 3, which knocks Chelsea out of the Champions League. City go to 5th. And guess what? On top of this,
Houston just scored.
Come on,
Steph.
Bro.
Come on, Steph. Come on, Steph.
Bro.
20. Minute 20. 22. They just scored.
Well, boys, y'all get it back in blood.
And we got an extra spot. So usually there's 4. Now there's 5. Thanks to,
Credit
Arsenal.
to Liverpool. Congratulations on the title win. Huge for Scousers all around the world. There's a lot of Scousers in Austin. I'm sure B.D. Riley's pub was probably jumping today with the Liverpool fans. But another storyline is Wrexham promoted.
Oh, yeah.
Wrexham, only club in history, right?
I believe so.
To have 3 consecutive promotions.
They 3-peated promotions.
Now, they're in the championship, and this question was asked by some pundits. I think it was on Sky Sports. They said, how long do you think it's going to take Wrexham to get into the Premier League?
Oh, now we're getting weird.
Troy Deeney.
There's no way they can do it in their first season. There's no way, bro.
Troy Deeney.
Hell no.
Troy Deeney said never. They'll never touch the Premier League.
That's also not like a crazy take either.
But other pundits said 5 to 10 years.
That's crazy.
How much lower will they drop?
Look, that's a crazy thing to think that they would make it to the Premier League, bro.
Why not?
No way.
Why
bro.
not? If you manage to have 3 consecutive promotions, and what people have been telling me is the hardest structure in world football, it's the most difficult.
They just did beep.
So why not? That's what I'm saying. Why not? Think about it.
That'd be wild.
Think about it. They have the
There's
owners.
No
they have the owners that know how to navigate these waters. The owners got money themselves, so they're not tied to this business significantly as some other owners are.
There's no way.
So they got wiggle room.
There's
It's freaking Ryan.
I'm saying
Ryan Reynolds and the other guy from It's Always Sunny.
Yeah.
They got bread.
But
they got bread. It's a Hollywood story,
I'm gonna lean with Troy Deeney, bro. I'm gonna lean with bro.
God. Troy Deeney's just being sour. He's being a sour.
You just want the Cinderella story. Everybody wants the Cinderella story.
I want the Cinderella story. I want the documentary.
You know what I mean?
Right now, there's a weird trend going on with the teams that even get promoted go straight down, bro. Like, it's almost starting to be a bigger gap than you might think as far as the Premier League and the Championship that a lot of people I don't live there, obviously. A lot of people can tell you. But just keep an eye on the championship, keep an eye on the Premier League. It's like there's a bigger gap. Plus, you take away the ability, of course, this is weird to say, but you take away like the hype and this and that. I know the three-peat is insane achievement, but Wrexham in the Premier League, that's just crazy. I can't fathom, bro. It would be crazy, and there's no way they'll do it in one season.
Look, if they do it in one season in the championship, it'll be extremely impressive. That'll probably be more impressive than the 3 promotions put together.
Is this a crazy take to say they might be the hottest team in the world? Like, as far as like hype and just everything, if they were to quadruple promotions,
by your standards, hold on.
Global impact, as far as I'm saying.
By your standards, you might want them in the freaking Club World Cup this year. You might want them in the freaking Club World Cup.
They would be fired.
You might want them in there, wouldn't you? You might want them in there.
They would be the biggest club, and like it would be insane, bro.
No, but you can attribute financial backing, strategic recruitment, and also things going their way. Because Leyton Orient, I think it was they were the team that had to win their game. I think they had to defeat Wycombe or something like that in order for this to work out for them. And they also had to win their game. So they're putting their part, but also things go their way. It's just footy. Luck has to go with it as well. But like I said, it's a Hollywood story.
It's a Hollywood story. But also, Ryan Reynolds, he's tied up. I don't know how he can be focusing on the football aspect with all the stuff that he's got going on.
He got the resources. He got something.
Now,
like he says, big time.
Before we answer some Discord Patreon questions on the game, just to circle back to the Austin topic, Sebastian Driussi wins the most important game in Latin American football today with River Plate. Because of his goal, River wins 2-1 against Boca Juniors in El Super Clásico. And the celebration that he chooses to do, we recognized it. We saw it against New Mexico. He hit the Rigoni. He hit the Rigoni in front of the River fans. Now, it's interesting because River fans were starting to torch him up. The past couple of games, the past couple of weeks, he was getting it. They were questioning why they signed him, why 10 million, that he was bad, he wasn't going to do anything, he was old, he was coming back from an injury or he had gotten hurt or whatnot. But Driussi, the Rigoni celebration, you think this is enough to pay back the $10 million transfer fee that was paid for him?
I know you were saying that earlier, but I don't know. I just feel like, of course, they're on his neck, but, good for him or whatever. I don't know. We still got our end of the deal, so I don't even know why we really even talk about it. But
Bro, you know why we're talking about Driussi, mate. Come on.
There's no way that was enough, bro. For the 10 million, there's no way. Bro.
I'm asking for your opinion, man.
Okay. That's my opinion.
I know
my opinion is that there's no way, bro.
Nah, I don't think
because
so.
Look at the standings. Boca's number 1. And River is 5th.
Okay, but think about the monetary thing that comes behind that. Now, because Driussi scored a goal in an iconic match,
it helps him.
It helps him. Yeah. It helps the TikToks. It helps the brand. It helps the jersey sales. Yeah. It helps the pressure being brought off of a FO that was already being questioned as to the moves, the players that they had brought in, the money that was spent.
That sounds familiar.
It's a good like for now. But if he fails to score the next 2 games, then what was this before then?
But fans are going to always bring up, pero metió gol contra Boca.
Yeah, the winner,
Bro,
the winner.
I don't know.
How many times have you seen the goal where Driussi scored against Boca?
For a trophy.
Remember when Driussi scored versus Boca years back and he took his shirt off and he showed the lion to the Boca fans? Bro, they had that clip up running for years. This is another one of those.
I guess, I don't know. I guess you would have to ask this to the standards of River fans. I mean, like, I'm trying to put it in perspective of me. Like, let's say...
We got one here.
You're a River fan?
I'm just kidding.
But, like, I was like, okay, let's say America gets a player for 10 million. He scores it against El Clásico against Chivas, but we're 5th in the table. To me, I'm like, that's not enough, bro. And that's just me as a fan. So I'm curious to see what River... They were tearing up, though.
They were turning
He needed any sort of lifeline.
Even before he got there, though, there's a lot of people like, he's not worth 10 million.
This is a good lifeline.
It's a payment.
It's a good lifeline, but it's not going to last forever, brother.
It's a payment. It's a payment towards the...
It's a payment. That's a good
towards
way to
the
put
balance.
It's a payment. It's a payment. It's a payment.
Yeah, I don't think... Because you were kind of asking, does that make everything worth it? Like...
So basically, I don't think so. But
It's an
he
installment.
submitted he made his first payment or whatever.
It's an installment.
It's
Now,
a first, yeah. He's still got. I don't think he's still got a lot more to pay back.
before we get out of here, Mason, questions from our Patreon members. We have here Ari Silva. He says, with an upcoming busy May, Dani's injury, and our attack's pitiful form, do you realistically expect the team to make a deep Open Cup run, upcoming opponents notwithstanding? What do you think? Now, in the Open Cup, you start off with El Paso, but
should
also
win.
May is very, very, very busy. So, are you realistically confident?
Another test, because yes, you're right. We have these missing pieces. We have a long season or a long busy month ahead of us, and it is going to be a big test. It's going to come down to, figuring out what we can do with
Now,
the pieces that we have. Robert Taylor coming in.
Wait. What Adi's asking is, do we have what it takes to?
it says, do you realistically
To make a
expect
run
the
in
team
Open
to make a
Cup?
deep Open Cup run?
It's just going to be a matter of how Nico responds.
You would say yes, bro, because
want
everything
to.
is in
You
our
would
favor.
hope. You
Like
would
everything should be in our favor. First of all, we're playing at USL. Respect to
hope.
them, but we should win that game.
We should.
But
And
we
not
can't
only
go in
that,
there like that.
I know, but I'm just laying out like what's set up for us right here. To answer his questions, like we got Locomotive, we got it at home. If we win that game, we play at home. If we win that game, we play at home again. Like everything is paid for us to do it. So
I think you still can go to Phoenix though, even if you win the next game. I think if Phoenix
Phoenix
wins,
beats
okay.
Houston.
yeah, they have
That is
hosting
true.
rights. And if we gotta go to Phoenix, guess what? We going to Phoenix. we going to Phoenix
On a Wednesday.
to
Oh
answer
yeah, I
his
forget
question,
about that. I forget about that.
I still think we do, bro. I think
we can make a good Open
Like,
Cup
what's a
run.
run,
we do.
though? Like, you think we got a
I think we
solid
can
chance at making
3 games in,
winning the
bro.
cup?
We got to be at least 3 games in.
To win Open
You
Cup,
can't
it's
crash out,
at
because if
least
you
3
crash out an
games in.
Open Cup first round, can you imagine?
Nah.
Yeah.
Oh
We're sitting here
yes,
talking
yes.
about
I
we
can
need to make a
imagine
run,
it
right?
very.
But
Yes,
there's
I
the
can
other side of
imagine.
that too, where it's like it's very possible.
I have a
that-
hot take.
Not that you want that to happen, but
I have a hot take,
What
and
happens
people
if we crash
and people might not want to hear this.
yeah.
What if we prioritize the first couple of rounds of Open Cup, sacrificing our MLS lineups? You're in second
What do you mean?
place
No
in the
sacrifice
West.
to nothing though.
You're
That-
you're in second place in the West, so you got a little bit of wiggle movement. You know what I'm saying?
I wouldn't
see where you're
say
going.
sacrifice
Because
though.
we have injuries now, and we need to rotate or whatnot. But now that he's mentioning it, depending on how serious we're gonna take Open Cup, what squad is gonna be prioritized? The Open Cup or the MLS? Because Nico has a tough decision to make. Because remember earlier last week or
Basically, got to pick a competition.
the week before, we were saying play the youngsters, play the young guys, play Stuver. They got to step up or whatnot. And they do have to step up. But I kind of want to secure that first round, mate. You don't want to crash out. Think about the negative headlines.
would
I
be
feel like we need to
bad.
secure that game against Locomotive. And
And
like
we
B
should
said,
we should be able to
we
rotate.
should be able to rotate and win.
and win, bro.
But I don't know if I'm comfortable enough to.
I'm gonna answer this question with a yes. I think we could make a run, bro.
So
We
okay,
have to.
let me ask a question real quick. So do we go like full strength, or do we do what usually
No,
you see for
rotation
other
for sure.
competition?
in
rotation,
Open Cup,
right?
in Open Cup first match, I would go full strength.
Right, because
I
you
would
want
go
we
full
already
strength.
know. We
I
already
would go
know.
full
We
strength.
already
Because
know
we see
Stu's
what
not gonna
happens. You
play.
go to a competition, you bring your B team.
Correct.
You know,
Correct. B makes a good point. We already know Stuver's not going to play.
Yeah,
So that's a sign
it's gonna
of
be a
rotation
rotated squad
coming.
because you look at your players like a rotated squad should take care of business. Like you shouldn't think like, oh, I can't rotate because we can't be Locomotive. That's insane.
I just want to secure this round, mate. I just want to secure it. That's
you
all.
should be.
What if you secure it and then take guys off?
And then what? And then we have
20 minutes left of just bunkering down?
Because we got Minnesota Saturday, we got EFL on Wednesday, and then we got Cincinnati away.
EFL. English. I see what you the EFL. It's not the EFL, man.
No,
It's the Open
El
Cup.
Paso, isn't that their abbreviation?
Oh, I thought you meant like
Yeah,
the English.
the
EFL is like, okay, I'm
oh,
sorry. I thought
my bad. No, it's on me. I don't know what I said. I don't even know what I said, bro.
El Paso, I see what you're saying. So we have Austin. So sorry, we have Minnesota, El Paso Locomotive in the Open
Yes.
Cup, Cincinnati, and then Atlanta,
And then Atlanta, and then again, and the next
Vancouver,
game,
and then Minnesota again.
I mean, so come on, like this.
whether
is,
we make a run or not, I don't know, but we just cannot crash out.
Now Scott says, what lineup changes do you think could kickstart the offense? Robert Taylor. Robert Taylor coming in for Buka. Hader needs to continue to be a guy coming off of the bench. I don't think he's a starting caliber player. Yeah. And Brandon Vazquez just has to stay healthy, bro. What are you eating? Stop going to these barbecue places, dog. Eat at home. Caldo de pollo. Why are you getting sick? You know what I'm saying?
That's actually
what's going on there? Yeah, why are you getting sick, bro? You don't have people taking care of your immune system. LeBron James invests over $100 million a year in taking care of his body. Where are our sports doctors? Why are we getting sick at this stage, mate? I'm not having it, Brandon. I'm not having it. You literally, bro, you are Mexican. Where's the caldo de pollo? You are Mexican, bro. Where is the Vicks? Where's the Vaporub? You know these tricks, dog. You got somebody to call. Your grandma, your mom, I don't know.
Yeah.
No excuses to be getting sick right now, Brandon Vazquez. You got caldo, you got Vaporub, caldo de res. Hit me up. I can help you.
You gonna cook a caldo de res?
I would for him.
You know?
I would for him.
Would he been the solution for us?
BV?
Yeah.
In Houston?
I think we would have
With all the
started
crosses that
differently.
we put into the box, hell yeah. I think so.
You would hope so, yeah.
You would hope so. Because even then, he's been sus the weeks before going into
Ilie
this
said
game.
it. I know you've been asking on the past couple of pods, but like, is this a chemistry issue? Is this a service issue? Ilie said clear as day. It's simple to him.
Yeah.
He said that they need to give the offense more service.
John also said that it sucked that Brandon Vazquez scored last week. He's out this week, which means that what if
That's a
he
good
what if
point.
that he would have scored this week? He could have been in a role.
His momentum,
In his
yeah.
momentum that could have changed the game. So different factors. It sucks.
There was
but
a lot of
you gotta
curveballs.
bring
It
it
was
up.
a big test for Nico. I just feel like he failed miserably, man. We
Now,
made Houston look good.
this question, I want you guys to answer it truthfully with everything that you can. Think about your answer, okay? Isaias Vanilla Mexican 17 says, does Nico Estevez survive the month of May? B, I need your answer. Why are you laughing, mate? Why are you laughing, bro? Does Nico Estevez survive the month of May?
Wait.
And somebody even responded to Vanilla in the Discord. They said, dude, seriously?
I think he survives May, bro. I think he survives May. That's wild, bro. No, he
Does Nico survive the month of May?
I mean, of course, mentally, whether or not he does, it's going to be a lot for him to process. A lot of studying, a lot of game plan, a lot of tactics, a lot of everything. But I don't think he's going nowhere. Like,
nah, not in
Sama
May.
says, the only scenario in which I see Estevez getting fired is if we become serious spoon contenders. Otherwise, we'll see him in 2026, even if we don't make playoffs.
if we keep scraping by like how we are, I think it'll be all good. But if we just seriously crash out of May, everything's terrible. We losing every game. People, you know what I mean?
Well,
I mean, maybe, but I doubt it.
Roldo sacked Wolf because he said it himself, standards is to make playoffs. So if he is fighting for playoffs, making it, whatever seed you think is acceptable or not, he's gonna probably be here
so
next season.
that's
So
why it's very
you know what I mean?
unlikely.
There's no unless we're like, you know, like was it Sama that said that? We're fighting for wooden spoon. Then yeah, you know, we could probably start questioning that as for sure, but he'll definitely make it through May, brother.
Oh, man. Well, guys, last question here. It says, does Real Madrid deserve more criticism for their show in the Copa del Rey final? The stuff leading up to the Copa del Rey.
What do you mean with the stuff
With
leading
the
up?
calling out of the referee.
Oh, no,
And, you
do
know-
they deserve more criticism for
Yeah.
doing that? No, I mean, they get all the criticism. First of all, like
People came after Madrid.
Yeah.
People came after. I
So-
feel like people are dancing on Madrid's grave
that's
now
what
more than
happens.
ever.
Honestly, as a neutral age, can I tell you something? When
Sure,
Madrid
go
loses, when neutral is like hell yeah,
Oh, I know. I see
Yeah.
it all the time. I know.
like because y'all are like
We're the kings.
the villains and like the always like I don't know if you can paint a picture of like a movie like Madrid are the villains. And then Barca's like the hero, like coming to save the day, and it's like the two.
It's ridiculous,
You know what I mean?
honestly.
Just from a neutral standpoint, because of Messi, because of Ronaldo, and everything. But do they deserve more criticism? They always do this, bro. Y'all always do this, bro. Don't act that y'all don't always do this. Y'all always do that, leading
Do
up
what?
to games and making excuses and closing the dome and doing all that, like shit like that, bro. Y'all are sneaky with it. Y'all are the goats at it, like. Y'all
play
are
the other game.
Y'all are the goats at y'all.
They did say that they were going to close the dome to create a better atmosphere against Arsenal. Only thing they did was help Declan Rice with the aerodynamics of the ball.
area.
That's all they did. But all right, Logan, any criticism to Real Madrid for their spectacle?
Nah, man, what goes up got to come down. You know what I mean? It's if Barca can actually pull something off, do
And you
pull
know-
like a treble like you're talking about. At least it was that team that you lost to. I don't know.
Oh,
You
my
know it's gonna
God.
be a good Champions League season when Madrid are out. Finally, okay, this year might be memorable with something. you
No,
know?
that's not a
Something.
guarantee because sometimes it's a boring Champions League when Real
You never
Madrid is
know.
not in it.
Like the Tottenham.
Liverpool.
I just want to see someone else win it, mate. I'm
What-
tired of Madrid winning it every year, mate. Like, get them out.
Step up. It's simple as that.
I just enjoy when Madrid are out, and I'm like, okay, let's.
Somebody else to win.
something else
I
gets
see
to-
what you're
you know what I'm
saying.
saying?
Something else is on
different.
TV.
Something like we could okay, two teams fighting it out. It's not Madrid again.
Yeah.
Coming back after being, I'm tired of that.
Last thing before we get out of here, mate. Shador Sanders. Would you take him at Austin FC?
At this point, give him a shot, man. Give him a shot.
Did you see whenever they pranked
Bro.
him? You see
Yeah,
whenever they
that
pranked
was
him?
foul. That was foul.
That's foul.
So,
He said, "You're gonna have to keep waiting."
I've been keeping up with this online,
Yeah, I've
right?
seen
But
that.
I'm
I've
not
seen it
really
online.
in the loop. Are y'all like, so essentially what they're saying is that he was being over cocky with it. His
Yeah,
dad,
he was, like,
Dion,
throwing
being,
parties
you know,
and
so,
stuff,
he's
yeah.
gonna do this. So that the execs purposely guy was like, nah, not this guy. Because that's the only way that this happens.
that's very conspiracy because you can't prove that,
But
but it does seem like there's
it's
an
right.
agreement. There was an agreement behind closed doors saying, "Hey, we're gonna make this guy sweat."
They went at they did it so obviously. It's like when you're taking a test and you're cheating, you got like 100. Like they were like, we're gonna make it clear that your antics were not. That's not what we want.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but him and his father, they said that they were gonna pick where they played in the NFL,
Yeah,
saying that they were gonna have so many suitors that they were gonna pick, and then he
Yeah.
had a wall of hats
Legendary,
of the teams where he wanted to go. And I think before that, they even said that they wouldn't go to the Browns. And Deion Sanders advised young players to not go to the
I
Browns.
saw somebody say the only thing worse than not getting drafted is getting drafted by the Browns.
He did get drafted by the Browns, right?
Exactly.
He did, he
Yeah.
did.
Wow, that just goes to show that these NFL GMs, man,
They got power.
They got power. And,
I mean, Trump even commented on
and
it. He
when
said
they're-
that they need to pick him up.
and when
That's crazy
that's
for
crazy,
opponents
man.
for
That's
opponents to
crazy.
comment on the NFL
And
draft.
look how strong they are when they're together about one guy. Like, nah.
But Quinn went to Miami.
Oh,
Good
yeah,
move
that's
for him,
true.
bro.
Miami, that's
Badass move. Who doesn't want to go to Miami,
Talk
bro?
about
The Dolphins?
Talk about
Yeah.
waiting.
No, and Quinn has aura. I mean, when you're a quarterback for the University of Texas, your name is known all around this country.
I was expecting a little bit more this last season with him. The first season where he went was way better than
He
last
was hurt
season.
though. He was hurt though this
hurt.
last season. He was hurt. He was hurt. He had an ankle issue, right? I think it was an ankle
yeah,
issue.
ankle,
Some
yeah,
other,
it
I
was
think,
ankle.
throwing arm issue as well. But other than that, from the NFL draft, I mean, I saw more of Shador Sanders than players that got picked.
He was all over X.
It was all Shador's show, bro.
Shador's show.
And just think about how much money he made off of like all that exposure too.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Think about all that. Like that also goes in hand with all this BS.
Now he's at the Browns, brother.
He's at the Browns.
That's like QB graveyard. It's like
You know what? Just to get out of here, man. You know what? The funniest thing I've heard on a job site from an old head when they're gonna go to the restroom, they say, "Well, time to take the Browns to the Super Bowl." I'm like, "Oh, dude, that's disgusting." But then I'm like, "That's genius. Like that's such a
Some
great
real
joke.
banter right there.
That's such a great joke."
I got one too. This whole is like if every time you go to the restroom, be like, well, if you shake it more than twice, you're playing with it.
Oh my god. Nah, that's crazy work, bro. That's crazy work. That's crazy work. That's crazy. Hey, job site jokes, bro. Nah. And you know what? Austin FC better watch out, bro, because if they keep playing like that, man, some of those guys are gonna be on the job site with me soon. But all right, y'all. Have a good night. Have a good week, and we'll be back next week to recap the Minnesota game. See you soon.